You know, it really does feel like that this week on the Markie channel is a bit of like a throwback week because we've really been speaking about a few creators that we just haven't spoke about in so long. Obviously, the other day we spoke about the Ace family for the first time in God knows how long, probably over a year at this point. And today we are speaking about Mikayla Nogueira, someone that we haven't spoke about since she did like the magic trick with the eyelashes. I've got to say I am quite disappointed that she didn't keep up with the magic stuff. She was really talented at it. It was quite unique tricks, right? Appearing eyelashes? Never seen before. But the situation we're talking about today doesn't involve magic. It's actually a bit of drama that's going on over the past few days. Technically over the last few months, but publicly within the last few days. But it involves two TikTokers, the first one being Mikayla Nogueira with 15.3 million followers. Like, she is huge on this app, isn't she? And it also involves a new character on the Markie channel, Matthew Stevens, who obviously has a TikTok account, as you can see, but he also runs his own business, like a tanning thing. I'm not sure what the correct term is for that. I was going to say spray tan, but I don't think it is a spray tan. I think that's something different. But we can see his website here, okay? It's called Illusion Bronze, and he has his own, like, tanning stuff that he sells, right? And from what I can tell, the public opinion on this brand is that it's very good. Obviously, I don't use it myself, but from what I've seen, he does a very good job of it. But like I mentioned, Matthew and Mikayla have been going back and forth, publicly and also privately, but more recently publicly. As we can see by this video right here that was posted 2 days ago, it's got nearly 8 million views. This isn't the first video that Matthew uploaded about Mikayla. He did upload one a little while ago, briefly going over the situation, but this is the more up-to-date stuff where he really goes into details. And we are going to watch through the videos going back and forth here, but the basic idea, just to give you guys some context, is that Matthew obviously has his brand. He runs a small business that seems to be going very, very well, but a very big brand actually copied his idea in his opinion, and obviously he's not really a big fan of this brand at this point. It's a competitor that already has a very big head start because they're already a massive brand, and they've apparently just stole his idea, but then he started seeing that a bunch of creators have started promoting this brand, doing brand deals with them. One of which was actually Mikayla, even though Mikayla told Matthew that she would review his product. And there's a lot more details that we're going to learn throughout these videos, but that's just some basic context so we understand what this first video is about.
Mikayla's lies have cost me $10,000. Yes, I am $10,000 in debt because of her lies.
Yeah, I mean, that is technically true from what he's saying, right? But the whole, like, $10,000 thing, I probably have a bit of an unpopular opinion about. I'm just going to warn you in advance, but we'll get to that.
My business Illusion Bronze went viral last year, and in the video to Mikayla, I just explained, hey, there's this multi-million-dollar company who's sort of knocking off my idea, and I could really use your help. If you don't know, Illusion Bronze is the only custom self-tanner mixed for each individual client based off your eye color, hair color, and skin tone. After seeing I had gone viral with my concept, this brand put a quiz on their website asking people for their eye color, hair color, and skin tone, and they would suggest 1 of 4 colors. So it basically cheapened and simplified my idea, obviously, because I have 125 customizable colors.
Yeah, so obviously this is just something that happens. That's really fucking shitty for the small businesses, right? But it happens so often with any type of products, right? As soon as someone does something that's a bit innovative, I always struggle with that. As soon as someone does something that's innovative, I can't say that fucking word. Just pretend I said it, all right? Innovative, it just doesn't sound right, does it? They come up with this new idea that is done really well. Unfortunately, these big brands will catch on to it if it's successful for the smaller businesses, and they will just copy it and make it like simpler. And because they're ripping off a smaller brand, most people don't tend to know that they've just ripped it off. Like, it really does seem like when a lot of companies get to a certain size, they just get very, very lazy and steal ideas, and it's unfortunate, and it just happens, but it is very, very shitty for Matthew.
Tried to convince myself that it was a coincidence, but there were a few girls who went viral from reviewing my product that were genuine, authentic reviews, and this multi-million-dollar brand went after them, paying them to do reviews of their brand and mention the things that were unique about my product, but instead say it about theirs. So imagine my surprise when 4 days after I asked Mikayla if she would review my small business, she reviews the specific line from the multi-million-dollar company who was knocking me off. Now keep in mind, when I asked her to review my product line and then she reviewed the competitor 4 days later, their line had been out for 6 months at this time. So I didn't believe it to be a coincidence.
Right, so as you just heard, he spoke to Mikayla about reviewing his product. She then goes and reviews the competitor. That would clearly piss anyone off. Now, actually looking at Mikayla's video reviewing this competitor, there's nothing in the description saying that it's like an ad or anything, so maybe she just did it off her own back. I mean, but it's obviously Mikayla. I think she's quite known for not disclosing ads. But to be fair, I don't know what would piss me off more if I was Matthew. Like, if she did it as an ad, you would just sit there and be like, all right, so because they're paying you, you're just going to review the competitor that could crush my brand. But then also, if she's done it without it being an ad, it's just like, oh, so why are you doing it then? You could have reviewed my product. So I can see him pissing him off either way.
This video I posted, wondering if it was a coincidence, garnered 4 million views. Mikayla DM'd me the next morning and said it was an absolute coincidence. It would never be my intention to hurt a small business. She said, I think I actually have your tanner. Regardless, when I get home, I will make my purchase and try your tanner ASAP.
Okay, so this is kind of an important bit, right? They are speaking back and forth for what seems like a long time. It gets stretched out a lot, and Mikayla keeps saying, look, I will review your product, you've got nothing to worry about, it will get up eventually, and it doesn't. Which again is a very shitty thing to do. If you're not going to release the review, just tell him. You don't need to get his hopes up, right? It would probably be exciting for him because a huge TikTok creator who has a lot of influence on what people buy is saying that they're going to review his product. And then if they don't do it, it's just getting his hopes up for no reason. So when it comes to that side of things, I do agree with Matthew. It's a very shitty thing to do from Mikayla. Now, she has released a new video just yesterday, I believe, basically saying like, I'm getting to it, I was getting to it. It'd been a long time at this point, so realistically, it seems like it would have never came out if this wasn't made public. But yeah, that is a very shitty thing to do. Just don't give people your word if you're not going to keep it. It should be that simple, right?
Once she's home, she shows me that she has the product, as well as shits all over my competitor, but I'm not going to blast that.
I mean, that's interesting because in the video actually reviewing the competitor, she seemed like she loved it. So she's shitting all over them afterwards. It seems a bit odd, doesn't it?
Wow, maybe this misunderstanding is turning into a friendship. Well, in October, she told me she was posting it ASAP.
Okay, so this is back in October, right? And as she's saying, like, just yesterday, oh, I was getting to it. How long does getting to it take? Like, if I was speaking to someone and they told me that they were going to do something for me, like a review or something, I don't know, right? And this was back in October and it got to January, I would just also assume that they're not going to get to it ever.
2 months passed by. I really just had grieved the idea and moved forward. I was like, damn, it's unfortunate that she really is the person that people say she is. I don't think that she understands that just because I don't have 15 million followers, I do have almost 72,000.
Oh, wait, what the f... He's grown a lot over the past 2 days, hasn't he? Jesus Christ. Okay, right, so 2 days ago he was on 72,000 followers, and now he's on 290,000 followers. I mean, I get he didn't get his review from Mikayla, but bloody hell, this has grew his brand a lot, hasn't it?
Now, in the past, Mikayla made a video about how she doesn't review indie brands anymore because they can't keep up with the orders.
There's been a few instances where the indie brand cannot handle the capacity to fulfill all of those orders.
I was a long-term...
Right, so this is where we get to a bit of like a sticky bit in it where I can kind of see both sides. So Mikayla has now reached out again a couple months later saying, I'm going to use it this weekend and post a video. He's obviously got excited. Mikayla has said in the past that when she's promoted small businesses, it can kind of fuck them up a little bit because they don't have the stock. So this is where Matthew comes with the idea to try and get ahead of it and get ready for the orders.
Shopify had kept offering me a $10,000 loan. So when she told me, I'm reviewing this tomorrow, I was like, let me take that loan. The money gets deposited within like 24 hours, and I spent all $10,000 on product.
So yeah, as you just heard, he takes a $10,000 loan to try and get ahead of it to get the stock. Now, this is where the problem comes, because a lot of people are basically trying to claim that Mikayla's almost like scammed Matthew out of $10,000, which isn't really truthful. I think it's absolutely shit of her to keep promising that this review's gonna come out, and then it doesn't. And then because of that, he spent $10,000 on stock, and she still didn't release the review. That is definitely shitty on her part, but also on the other side, he did choose to take the $10,000 loan himself. He already knows at this point that Mikayla isn't exactly the most reliable person because he's been trying to get this review for months. Even though she kept promising it, it just never came out. So getting that $10,000 loan was always going to be a risk. You know the type of person Mikayla is. You've dealt with it over the past few months. There was a chance that the review wasn't going to come out. It was a risk that he chose to take. But with that being said, the risk was taken because Mikayla told him that she was going to release the product. He's obviously seen a previous video from Mikayla saying that brands sometimes can't keep up with stock. He was trying to get ahead of it. I completely understand that. But I don't think it's as cut and dried that Mikayla's almost like scammed him out of $10,000, right? There's no contract or anything. People have tried saying that text messages could be used as like a contract. I don't really know the legalities behind that. But I think there's some error on both sides here. Definitely way more towards Mikayla, but I don't think it's as clear, you know?
And when she finally posted She clearly had a tan on, but it was hideous. Talking like beyond orange. And the hands were a mess. Here is my message below. I say I wish I could have given her tips and talked to her more about how long to leave it on for. But she told me she left on mine for 12 hours. So I'm like, is that why it turned out so bad? Called my mom so upset. I'm like, Mom, when she posts this video, no one is gonna wanna buy my self-tanner. Like, how did it turn out this way? And then my mom said, Matt, with all the orders you've had, has anybody ever told you they look orange? Have you ever seen a photo of someone who looks orange after using Illusion Bronze? And I was like, no. And then I went back and I looked at her full body and I realized she got a spray tan.
Okay, right, I'm completely out of my depth here right now because there's absolutely no way that I'd be able to distinguish if that is a spray tan or Matthew's product. So I am gonna have to take his word for it here, but apparently she didn't even use the product.
But she lied to me pretending she even used it at all. Like, why not just say I didn't get a chance to use it? Why are you saying I slept in it and I love it? Finally, I'm like, listen, she doesn't know how much money I spent, so let me just tell her the situation and that it's stressing me out and I know she'll make it right. Pause if you want to read, but basically I tell her 3 weeks earlier, I placed an order for $10,000 because I wanted to be prepared. And as someone who talks about their mental health so much, I wanted to let her know that I was really stressed out about this. And if she could find the energy to do a New Year's Eve tan, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, so at this point, this is when he tells Mikayla that he spent the $10,000. I'm still a bit divided on it, to be honest. I definitely do think more of the blame is towards Mikayla because she keeps promising this review and it's just not happening. That in itself is just bad. It's just getting someone's hopes up when you actually have no intentions of doing it. Like, it's just a rude thing to do. But also, if you're going to be completely fair with this, I think you do have to bear in mind that Mikayla never told him to spend his $10,000. Obviously, she has this old video where she also doesn't say, like, make sure you spend the money and whatnot. But she does almost hint at it, that this is a problem that happens with small brands. So I get that. And up until now, she wasn't aware that he spent the $10,000. I believe this still goes on for a bit even after this, so that's almost irrelevant because she still didn't post it. But I do think that this was a risk that he decided to take, right? He's working with someone he knows is unreliable. He's then put himself in debt, getting this loan to get the product for it, which if she does release the review, is very good, right? Because he's got all the product, he can sell more, I get that. But obviously there's a big possibility that she doesn't post it, because Mikayla has this track record that he knows personally, because he's been trying to work with her over the past couple of months. It's a risk that it didn't pay off, really. It probably is paying off now, because of all the attention it's getting. He's definitely probably sold that stock by now. But yeah, to the comments I've seen, and also the individual videos I've seen posted by other users, that's not Matthew or Mikayla, trying to say, like, Mikayla scammed him out of $10,000, that's not really true.
I'm telling you guys this now because last night people were commenting on her videos saying, I support Matthew's small business, review Illusion Bronze. She responded no, she responded shut up, and she started blocking people.
Okay, right, let's have a look at that then. Okay, I can't find the comments that he's talking about here, but I mean, why would he make it up, right? I'm sure it's true, because it'd be easily proven if it's not. But either way, at this point, obviously a lot of people are on Matthew's side, rightly so, right? He's been completely fucked over here. So obviously the comment sections on Mikayla's videos all about Matthew, so she decided to make a response video a day ago.
Matthew's a really nice guy. I've had good conversations with him. But I find it really unfortunate that he decided to take this issue to TikTok and fabricate a lie in order to prove a point.
Okay, so straight away, the fact that she's disappointed that he took it to TikTok is quite funny because he has spoke to her privately for months at this point. It's not like Mikayla just blanked one of his messages and he thought, fuck it, I'm gonna make a TikTok video. They were speaking for so long, she'd promised a lot of things and didn't deliver them.
He says I lied to him and used a spray tan. I've never gotten a spray tan in my life. I'd like to brief with that. Second of all,
Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's so hard to know, like, if what Mikayla's saying is true at any point. I just remember the whole, like, eyelash thing where it was, like, blatantly a lie. Like, even I knew it was a lie, and I know absolutely nothing about that type of stuff. So when she comes out and says she's never had a spray tan in her life, I'm like, really? But maybe it's true. What the fuck do I know?
The reason that the tan appeared orange is the same reason I look kind of, like, really warm and orangey right now. The video has color grading on it. And this was just in a video of me showing my outfit. So if I did a video using the tanner, it wouldn't have color grading on it, but it was just a random video. This is with the color grading off. Totally different.
I mean, that does make sense to me, right? Everyone uses color grade in the videos. I use color grade in my videos too. So it is going to look slightly different. And the fact that she wasn't making it solely on the product, which is kind of the problem at this point. It's the fact that she promised that she'd review this product over and over and over again and just never did it. That's the issue here.
And I did tell him I wasn't able to get to it because I was in a rush. But I was going to get to it. I always get to it. It just sometimes takes a bit.
It just sometimes takes 5 months. Don't you understand?
And lets me know that he had purchased 10,000 units or $10,000 worth of Tana, which I did not advise him to do that. That is a business decision that he made. Fact of the matter is, I didn't get to it yet.
Okay, well, just don't promise things if you're not going to be able to live up to them. It's quite simple. And that just goes with everything in life. Don't make promises that you're not going to be able to keep. But also when it comes to someone's business as well, and they're not like a multi-million-dollar company like these massive makeup brands, don't promise them stuff and get the hopes up and then not actually fulfill the promise, especially when, yes, obviously you didn't advise him to take out a loan, but there was always a possibility, especially when you've mentioned in the past that companies have struggled with stock when you review their product. That was always going to be a possibility. I don't think she's 100% reliable for the fact that he took out the $10,000 loan or anything like that. But it was definitely a possibility, and it's just the moral side of it in general. Don't promise shit you can't keep. Especially for months and months and months, right? I get it, she's saying she's a busy woman, she hasn't got to it yet. But if it's like the 3rd time that you've promised to release this video and you still haven't, probably make it a priority at that point, because you're just fucking someone over, right? Put everything else to the side for a second and be like, right, I've kind of messed with this guy for a little while now. I should probably make that my priority and make it the next video.
He cannot rely on me for the success of his brand. He just can't. I don't know what to do in this situation, but I am sorry.
I mean, that is true, right? He obviously can't rely on her for the success of his brand, but that's not really the point here. It's the fact that you kept promising over and over again. But to get this situation completely up to date, we now have to watch Matthew's video in response to Mikayla's video.
No, Mikayla did not tell me to spend $10,000 on product. But her knowing that I had just spent all that money on product, why is she responding to people in her comment section saying things like no and shut up and blocking them?
But also on the other side, just because you spend money on the product doesn't mean that the person is inclined to do the review. I don't see that side of it as much, right? I think it's more the fact that she kept saying, I would do it, and she didn't. I think the $10,000 investment is a bit irrelevant towards Mikayla. I think the big problem is that she kept saying that she would do it and never did, right? I realise that might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but there we go. But anyways, at this point, Matthew responds to the fact that Mikayla says that she did actually use his product, didn't get a spray tan, it was just the colour grading.
Mikayla is saying that she didn't get a spray tan. I'm not gonna double down. If I'm wrong, and I apologize for that. See, I've been airbrush tanning people for half of my life. And there's something called either a heavy hand or a light hand when you're airbrushing. And when somebody has a heavy hand, it's usually a bad spray tan or somebody inexperienced. They'll start out on one part of the arm, the higher part light, and then it gets really heavy as they pull down. And as somebody who's spray tanned a lot of people, that's what it appeared like to me.
Yeah, I would love to give you some like expert analysis here, but not a clue. I don't know who's telling the truth here.
When she told me she was posting it tomorrow, she did not the next day tell me, oh, I'm so sorry, I was so busy, I didn't get to it. She didn't tell me that until 3 weeks later when I contacted her and said, hey, you said you were posting this the next day. I bought all this product. Then she said, oh, I'm sorry, I was too busy, I didn't get to it.
Okay, that is actually very important information in this situation, right? Because if it actually got to the next day when she was going to release a review and then messaged him and was like, look, sorry, I'm busy, I can't get to it today, I would almost side at least more with Mikayla in that scenario. To be like, right, at least she's letting him know, giving him an update, saying she'll get to it. But the fact that it was 3 weeks later after he reached out again, that completely removes that, right?
I did not advise him to do that. That is a business decision that he made.
Mikayla did not advise me to do that, and I 100% did that on my own, and here is why.
I used to review...
Okay, so he then goes on to show the video of Mikayla saying that a bunch of indie brands couldn't keep up with the stock, which is a good point in a sense, but they didn't have the conversation. I feel like this specific part of the situation could have been completely avoided if they had the conversation and he reached out to him and said, look, if you are going to release this review, which I hope you are, should I buy a bunch of products? Because I've seen a video of you previously saying that a bunch of small businesses couldn't keep up with the stock. And if she then goes, yes, that would be a good idea, he would definitely have much more of an argument. But they didn't even have the conversation. It was just something he did on his own accord, which I think does weaken his argument a bit in that sense.
When she texted me on her own, out of the blue, hey, I'm posting a review tomorrow, that I would go and purchase a lot of products.
But then when she says, I'm posting a review tomorrow, just probably mention it, be like, right, should I get this loan out and actually get a bunch of stock, because you've mentioned it before? I think it was just very easily avoidable. The whole $10,000 thing, right? I think the big problem and the big criticism against Mikayla here is just the promising rather than the actual money.
My business did very well last year, long before Mikayla. I was not relying on her for the sole success of my business that I've worked on for 6 or 7 years. This is just about when you say you're gonna do something, just do it.
I think that is the simple conclusion here, right? Don't promise stuff that you can't fulfill. Very simple. But yeah, either way, that's the full situation up to date as I'm recording this video right now. I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. I feel like it'll be a bit divided. I know a lot of people will disagree with my take on the $10,000 stuff because I've seen the comments on these videos, right? A lot of people do disagree with that. But that's just how I personally see it, okay? It's fine if you disagree. I would love to hear why in the comment section down below. And also, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit, alright? Goodbye.